Thank you for joining here with us today. I'm sure that you're all very busy with the day-to-day hotel operation and all that stuff. So I would like to dive right into it. There's a question that has been bugging me, and I hope bugging all the people in this room enough to for me to be able to ask you this. The first question I'm gonna ask Mr. Danish that is the market for in-hotel restaurant and bar separate from these with their own location? Do you see a difference there?
So thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me and being part of it. And I'm so grateful to see so many F&B enthusiasts and friends and partners here, which I think it's so important that we grow a community, right? That we're going to grow a partnership. And I think this goes along with answering this question. I think Hotel F&B has been seen over the past decades always as a separate entity. Even if you look into any kind of awards which are awarded somewhere in other cities and other destinations, they always separate hotel dining from fine dining or hotel dining from street food dining. But hotels have to understand themselves as part of a community. We have to be part of the society around us and have to build partnerships, friendships, because we are part of this destination. So it can never be seen as just an own entity, right? The market, we share all the same market. There's no difference. We are all here in Hanoi, so we are all trying to attract all the Hanoians who are here. We are trying to attract all the foreign guests who are going to come to find Hanoi as a food and beverage destination. So I think it's just for us to really see this, to collaborate, to embrace and to be part of the scene, and then to really develop standalone concepts, which also attracts, right? Which also say, this could be a standalone outside. It is not just a hotel dining.
I agree. So do you think that it is it easier to view the restaurant own entity, or do you think it'd be easier to build a sub-brand for the restaurant to lie under the hotel brand image?
I think in first place, guests will go to the hotel, especially in our part. Capella is for sure the stronger brand versus any of the restaurant brands we have, because it's international, renowned, it has history, it has built brand affiliations all around the world, and it comes into the center of Hanoi. So which means people naturally will go and say, I go to Capella. Now the question is, how do we going to make them say, I go to Koki, to our Japanese restaurant. I go to the Hudson Rooms because I want to have a great bar experience. And this is where I think hotels needs to simply also move towards spending the same efforts of brand development and marketing efforts on their restaurants and bars, unlike saying, oh, a hotel marketing can do that. It's a completely different field. I think it's a completely different approach. The vibrancy, the frequency of posts, the frequency of engagements is completely different to a hotel perspective. So I think we need to, in hotels, need to just see this standalone and need to also dedicate the right resources for it.
I agree. And I think you were really humble when you say that, because all that I see on my Instagram is Capella restaurant and bar standalone recently. I don't think I have seen that kind of marketing campaign for any in-hotel restaurant and bar for years. You've been very active and you've been building some very diverse branding for the restaurant and bar inside your hotel. So, but that's only for me to see from the customer point of view. How about from your point of view? Are you happy with those campaigns? Are you happy with the outcome of those?
In first place, it's where we have to first define a brand, create a brand. So we work, of course, with brand agencies on creating these brands professionally, because they need brand pillars, they need a story, they need a program, and they need to have people, right? At the same time, yes, we are happy with what has been achieved, knowing also the challenges around it, because we're building brands within a hotel, right? So it's something which is maybe to this part newer, right? In other places it has been done. And I think now an important role will play also the international partnerships and accolades which are coming to Vietnam, right? If it's Asia's 50 best, which is already there, but if it is a Michelin guide, so the more you're going to bring also international reputed partnerships here to the country, we're going to bring Vietnam to the plate on the world league. And I think this is where you need to have strong brands because, as we said it earlier, you need brand associations, you need brand partnerships, you need people to connect with, and they are not just here. And to come to your question back, picking up, you say, as a consumer, you said earlier, who do you want to attract? Yes, I wish to have, of course, a lot of social media engagements, but I think the most important is currently the KOC, the key opinion customer, the customer who gonna take the picture, but they don't post it on your Instagram account. They may not even link it to your place. They share it in their small little community.
Circle,
And out of this, you're going to grow your customers. So it's far more important, not just judge on how many followerships you have. What is the quality of post and actually consumer-generated content you're going to get? And I think this is something where we have to get into because this what also our guests, I think, care most about to understand, oh, this person had a great dining experience there. Let me try this out because I trust this person. So it's not about reading a magazine only. It is really about trusting other people and building these connections.
Yeah, I agree. And do you think you're getting there?
It's a journey to go to. I mean, we're getting there. You get there step by step. If you ask me as a GM, I would always say, oh, the more the merrier, and I want to have it faster.
Agree.
But you need to also understand that you have a generic growth, right? You need to see that you're going to have the quality of the growth versus the quantity. Because the quantity, as you also rightfully said earlier, this can be easily arranged nowadays, right? Quantity I can get, but I need the quality because this also after gives me the return of invest.
Yes, I agree. Who actually came back after, well, the hype is over, when the trend, the campaign is over, that's what matters, right? I think Capella and Novotel are standing at a very different point in the Hanoi hotel scene. Capella is the newest, the trendiest, the upcoming that everyone's talking about. Novotel has always been the steady icon that we can all count on. So the next question is for the both of you. I think you will have very different approach to it. The question is how to make a restaurant or a bar in a hotel stand out, and more importantly, for them to earn their place to stay. So, Ms. Linh, thank you.
Thank you very much for this interesting question actually. And for us to make sure it's always challenged. There are a lot of the F&B dependent outlet and restaurant and bar. They all have very nice concepts serving the open more and more, serving us. And to make sure that we have some unique selling point to actually to excite our customer, consumer, we need really to look very careful at the target audience. And then we build our product based on our target audience for our serving hotel. And also just the most important is we need to change the hot dish to have to serve and to wow chain, to knowledge table, to really provide the good experience to our consumer. And to make sure that they remember, because the product is over here and there, we can change every day, but the services is most important, what we are focusing into.
Thank you, Ms. Linh. And you have anything to add, Mr. Danish?
From my side, I think it's, product is one part, right? People is the other. But I think one part which becomes more and more important is actually the part of programming. What programming do you going to offer to your guests in your specific venues, right? What fits, first of all, understand your own concept, define your pillars for it, but then build programmings which makes guests remember, right? It needs to be going on a reel. It needs to go somewhere on a point of, customer engagement level, which is far beyond just saying, I have a special product. So I think for us, it's, programming is, I think programming going to be the future of everything what we do, that we're going to really get these engagement points, but don't force them on guests. Do them when it is the right moment. So you need to sense and you need to feel this, but you need to have this kind of little toolbox with you.
This has been very insightful because working in F&B, I have always been focused on product and customer experience. But speaking with you too, I can imagine that while working in a hotel environment, you always have to think in terms of a more wholesome, a more complex experience that you can provide for your guests, not only in the dining room, but everything that they have to do when they visit a place. So that would be really insightful. And I would like to follow up with your sharing that I think for the most part, the in-hotel restaurant and bar appear in the first place is to make the stay of the guests more convenient, more pleasant, so they don't have to go out to get food, right? They can get it right where they're staying. So is it still the case till now? Do you still largely serve for your hotel guests, or is it more now independent guests that's coming in just for the restaurant? How about you?
That is the hotel product. Actually, when we establish the F&B outlets or in hotel in general, we also just very carefully look at a lot of the thing we need to consider, to take into considerations the value of the hotel, and assess target audience is also what we are aiming for in order to draw our business and our product. And of course, in the hotel, we provide quite a lot of the wide of the services, such as room service, to provide the food in the rooms, and the a la carte menu, which is the adapt with different requests or different demand from our different guests. And stay in our bed also, just we have buffet. Of course, we do have buffet, we serve buffet, and some special arrangement like for events, for some special events, and of course with some kind of the special occasion.
Yeah. So
and that is what we also just cater for.
yeah. So to follow up with that, which F&B service that your customer most demand for?
In Novotel, we know for the buffet and for the my services. My services, we really cater for big quantity of guests for the weddings, social events, and for the corporate meeting as well.
So you said that buffet is one of the most demand that your customer have. So how do you cater to that demand? How do you cater to that buffet need?
For that, the demand, we just provide, like in hotel, we provide breakfast buffets at the hotel do, but we also very careful look at the ingredient, original of the sauces we provide. And as Chef Tung also mentioned regarding the sustainability, and we try to make sure we are following that and health and safety standards. And we also just, as per demand of the market, we also serve the lunch buffet and also dinner for some team buffet as well. We aim to plan to serve for weekend brunch, but we are working on that.
That's plenty of option. How about you? What is the F&B service that Capella guests most demand for?
I think we are maybe a little bit of a non-so-typical hotel because we have 47 rooms, but I have over 550 F&B seats. So which means normally hotels always talk about capture ratios, how many guests you're going to get down from the floors into your restaurants. This would not fill even one restaurant if I would do so. So which means our focus has to be completely different, has to be, I think, the approach which hotels in general should have. Wherever you go, develop destination. You have to develop destinations within destinations. And I think there are great restaurant concepts actually outside there where you're going to go to a building and you're going to have 5 different restaurants in one, right? So why should this not the same style work in any of the hotels? So I think I could not rely on it. I could not just rely on in-house guests, right? Because they also come and want to explore the surrounding. They want to go outside in the city. So for us, I think it's more important that we're going to have the right recommendations with partners, with friends here in Hanoi, where we can send our guests to. Because if we are seen as a reliable source, they're also going to trust us that we're going to take food and beverage serious. And if our taste buds are good, they're going to trust us to stay with us and choose to dine in. I'm lucky that I have a lot of guests who are going to dine into the hotel because we have also a lot of options. But I think in general, we need to focus on how we're going to get, as I said it earlier, be part of the society, promoted to your in-house guests. I think vice versa, the reputation in the market will automatically draw your in-house guests back because they're going to see you on all the platforms and everywhere as a reputed great place to go to. So they say, oh, that's easy. Now I don't have to go so far, right?
And that's exactly what I want to follow up with. How do you be a part of the society? How do you adapt to Vietnamese scene? How do you adapt to Vietnamese scene through your F&B service?
I think it's, someone said earlier, build friendships, build partnerships, go out yourself. I'm like, build the relations to the people, right? At the same time, I think invite also the colleagues out of the industry and outside from the industry to your place and say, share with me your opinion. When we do menu launches, we normally invite always outside guests for tasting panels before those anywhere public, because we want to understand how was it perceived, right? Before we go to the market. And I think this is something which we have to just play on and have to continue to build.
Yeah, we have to go try and error and keep improving every day, right? And the opposite to Novotel, I'd like to ask, how do you showcase what Vietnamese is through your F&B service? Now, how do you represent Vietnam?
Okay, that is very interesting. And I know that every other local restaurant, they also try to do the same thing. As assessed from the hotel, we try to inflation the F&B for the Vietnamese local line. Firstly, for the material, assess we choosing the Vietnamese local product as much as we can. But of course, it needs to really have to up to our expected standard of hygiene and safety. Then we also try to using something great the Vietnamese flavor such as the lemongrass and Belton we call Lalos, which is very different flavor, which is flavor to yes, other country doesn't have it. And of course, pho, most important, that's very common. I mean, very common food for Vietnamese. And bánh mì, we come global. And associate of the spring rolls. Everywhere we serving that kind of food. But in hotel, we try to presenting it in the very Vietnamese traditional ways, but contemporary. Actually, because our target audience is quite trendy and also young, and they are very dynamic, and not only for testing for it, but also for seeing. And as per se, social media, they when they see the nice dishes, when you take the photo.
Yeah.
And they also just have us to spread out the words.
That's very subtle and very elegant.
Yeah.